Thank you very much, Maximina, for giving us your time for an interview. My name is Michelle and I work currently as an intern at Medicus Mundi, Switzerland. I would like to interview you in the light of the upcoming World AIDS Day. UNAIDS runs a Hands Up for HIV prevention campaign, which will explore different aspects of HIV prevention and how they relate to specific groups of people, such as adolescent girls and young women, key populations, and people living with HIV. I've been reading about your story and I am impressed by your strength, knowing that you've been living with HIV all your life. So please tell us more about your journey with HIV.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for this wonderful opportunity for me to be sharing my own story. I think ever since I was growing up, I was someone who was always sick. I think I would spend so much of my time in hospitals trying to get treated for different diseases. I still remember growing up, I had no friends to play with. I had no one to actually look up to. Basically, I was someone who was always isolated because I was always sick. My body looked so small. I had rash all over my body. So no one really wanted to associate it with me. You know how it is, especially when you're at school. So it was quite difficult for me, and I had so many questions. What's wrong with me? Am I going to have friends? What is going to happen to my life as well? I still remember back in 2005 when I was about to finish my primary level and I was looking forward to go to high school. I got into a seriously sick whereby I couldn't even walk. It was really bad for me because I couldn't even stand up, I couldn't even walk, I couldn't even do anything for myself. So I used to stay indoors doing nothing really. I used to just be someone who's just, sitting, doing nothing. If I want to go to the bathroom, I would sometimes crawl because I couldn't have any other support around me. Sometimes my mom and my sisters would want to do something else. Sometimes I'll be left alone with no one to talk to. So that was the kind of my life for about 2.5 years. You could imagine such a life whereby you are just merely someone who's sitting, not looking forward to anything. I still remember at that time I had no hope what is going to become of my life, of my future. I was someone who was always wanting to go to school. I wanted to proceed with my education. I wanted to become someone in life. I remember back then I used to have this desire to become a doctor, but all of those dreams were shut down because I was just someone who was not able to work. So I asked myself, how am I going to work to go back to school? So that was something that was going on with me. And during that time, the period of 2005, 2006, I got a chance to go and get tested at a clinic that is in Harare, that is called Newlands Clinic, that is being supported by the Professor Rudy Foundation right now. I got tested there and I was found that I was HIV positive. So my sister was the one who accompanied me to that clinic. I still remember they decided to tell me back then what was wrong with me, and when they told me, it was such a moment where everything just seems to stop. Because from what I heard, because I still remember I used to live in rural areas where HIV was really all about AIDS, how people died of AIDS, how people are being carried by wheelbarrows to the hospitals, how you see someone who's living with HIV so bedridden, doing nothing, and end up at the end of the day they end up dying. So that was all that came into my mind to say, I think that is going to happen to me. So I started crying. I had no hope, and sometimes I actually started to blame my parents, my mom. I said, why did they have to give this to me? I really wanted a good future. Now I'm about to die and everything. So it was a really hard moment for me to actually deal with my HIV status. But moreover, when I continued to go to the sessions at Newlands Clinic, I met this auntie, the staff that work at Newlands Clinic. They were so nice. They gave me love. They didn't treat me like someone who was HIV positive. The moment I got there, the first thing I still remember was they hugged me. I didn't expect it because from what I knew, people didn't want to touch someone who's HIV positive. They loved me. They treated me as, one of their child. They just gave me love. That's one thing that made me to be who I am today. And I think that was the fastest healing medication that I got, really. So that during that time, they counseled me. They gave me the information that HIV is not here to kill you. We've got now medications, ARVs, that can actually help you if you adhere to your medication very well. If you drink them at the same time that we are telling you to drink them, you'll be well and you'll be able to go back to school. You'll be able to do anything that you want in life. So I listened to what they were telling me. I started drinking my pills very well, and my situation actually improved. I started to walk again, and that's when I saw the light. So for me, ARVs were a miracle to me, because I was someone who wasn't able to walk for good 2.5 years, and now I started to walk again. And I had these dreams. My dreams started to come back, and I was more determined than ever. I started to think about what I want to become now in life, and also all my views about life, what I wanted to do, were changed as well, because I was now more focused on what I want to really achieve in life. So I think during that time, that's when I started going back to school as well. In terms of challenges that I faced as well, I think when I got back to school, I was a little bit older than the guys that were starting Form 1 in high school. So often they would ask me, why are you older in this class? What happened to you? And sometimes I had to lie. I couldn't tell them that I'm HIV positive, So those are kind of challenges that I had to face each and every time that I went to school, But the good part is, when you are someone who is so determined, someone who's good in class, who's always an A student, that's what I made myself to be. They tend to forget about the age issue, about you being sick, or you about having bad skin and everything, and they start to associate you because you are good in class and they want to learn from you. So I think that was the strength that I actually ride on during my high school time. So for me, I think that's the journey that I took to be where I am today. Sometimes you face stigma within the communities as well. Like when I was, growing up, sometimes people would say, probably nothing's going to come out of that a young girl. Probably we should not waste much of our time sending her to school as well, because she doesn't have a future. We don't need to pay for her school fees, because anyway she's going to end up dying anyway. So those are the kinds of words that I grew up hearing from the community, even from my relatives around me. So sometimes they got to get me down, but I knew that somehow I have to pick up myself and focus on what I wanted to be in life. So that's why I became who I am today. So I also, during that time, I was also linked to Africaid Shandiri. That's they had what they call a support group, whereby it's a family of those who are living with HIV. When I went there, I also received love. They empowered me to be who I am today. They encouraged me to speak up about what I want in life, where I want to go, what do I want to achieve, you see. So they molded me to be this woman that I am today, and I'm so proud to be saying that I moved from being a beneficiary, but someone who's able to act, to someone who's also an employee to them as well. So I'm now able to express my passion to other young people who are living with HIV by implementing some of the programs within Africaid as well.